They say don't come around here with your bling on. It could get ugly for a nigga like Klingons. Fuck you and your flag, I use that bitch to pee on. Type of shit we pee on, niggas that's peons. Used to roll blunts with my cousin from 6th straight. Used to shoot crap and sell crack like every day. Bottles of Hennessy looking out for my enemies. Never found Jesus, guess he wasn't a friend of me. Men lie, women lie, you know the rest. Money on my mind, on my grind, I'm puffing less. Hanging out with Warren, we on Douglas and Sawyer. He told me never trust a bitch and never lie to your lawyer. Said the red bone bitches is spoiled. The dark ones is royal. The white ones will spoil you, but ain't none of them loyal, Lord. I never heard more truth in a sentence, and still I tried fucking them all. Can you forgive me? Lord, forgive me for my brash delivery, but I remember vividly what these streets did to me. More nights stealing, less nights chilling. The more shots they hold, the better they feel it. Yeah, Lord, forgive me for my brash delivery, but I remember vividly what these streets did to me. More nights stealing, less nights chilling. The more shots they hold, the better they feel it. Yeah, Father, forgive me, but I'm talking my blood pops. I cannot forgive you for your life, it's the blood clock. Half a century still stuck on that needle. This is why I lie and tell the world I don't need you. Shit, I overcame my addiction to weed, bro. It's obvious you love dope more than me, though. 86 Kriegel creeping up, that's my cousin Nate. Kevin got an 87 Cuddy, so we celebrate. Jody got a Corvette, he took it off a customer. European face on that Chevy, cause I'm a hustler. Headed to the lake, summertime, that's all I know. Swerving a suburban, curb it, then desert it. Flirting with this virgin nurse from West Suburban. She said she loved Durban, served me after her shift. It's lit, like the Sunday service. Sins of a father, now I'm addicted. Forgive me for my brash delivery, but I remember vividly what these streets did to me. More nights stealing, less nights chilling. The more shots they hold, the better they feel it. Yeah.
Yeah, the mute monster got me. All right, ladies and gentlemen, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you, man.
All right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, it's another episode of Flipping Tables. This is Tuesday, man. I am honeymoon happy and peacock proud to be back in here one more time. Listen, before we get started, I want to send a big thank you out to all of those who have contributed to the channel, who come on and do the work, come on and do the shows, have great conversations, man, as we hit 1 million views on yesterday.
Congratulations, brother. Yes. Ain't many people hit 1 million, brother.
Man. And so, and I looked at it, man, it's just a lot of work, man. It's a lot of work, man. Even when it comes to thumbnails and creating thumbnails and doing, because thumbnails are impressions. Right. And I don't know if a lot of people check their impressions. I just checked mine for the first time after I hit the 1 million. I just started going down to check. And then my impressions are at 7 million views. Wow. As far as thumbnails, people who come and look at the thumbnails, the artwork, whatever you do as far as thumbnails. So make sure you go check that on yours too, Lost. Because when they look at your thumbnails and stuff, I had 7 million impressions on my thumbnails.
That's incredible, man.
That's crazy. But a lot of shows, man, over 2,500 shows, man. That's a lot of work.
Yes, it is. That's a long time, brother.
That's a long time. 2,500 shows, 1 million views, 7 million impressions. And man, so we just got to keep the work going, man. So I appreciate you, man. Welcome to the show tonight, ladies and gentlemen. The velvet voice of YouTube himself, Lost in Translations, in the building tonight, man. How you doing, my brother?
I am well. Thank you so much, sir. How are you today?
Man, I am fantastic.
Good.
Fantastic, man. I'm ready to have this conversation tonight. I think it's one of these conversations that we need to have.
Indeed.
Yeah, because people say there's white privilege, but man, I've seen some podcasts lately that are saying that it's not white privilege. It's black privilege. Black people have all the privilege. And so we're going to
talk about it, though.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that, Doc. If you do want to join the show, in a minute, you'll see the link. I'll have the link for you guys in the chat in just a second. Let's see. There it is. All right. Yeah, it's in the chat right now. I'm going to go ahead and pin it to the top if you want to join the conversation. All right, man. So another thing before we get started, I want to do a little icebreaker here. Man, I've been watching a lot of videos. It's getting rough out here, man.
It really is.
It's getting real bad. I saw a video of a lady today who is married, and she said that somebody was reviewing the video,
right? And
she said that she left her husband and their 3 children, and she moved to another state.
I saw that. She moved to Nashville or somewhere like that.
Mm-hmm. And
she got a job in Nashville. Yeah.
And the reason why he did it is because she said she needed to love herself more. So
I saw that.
she had to abandon her children and her husband to love herself more. What are your thoughts on that, Art? I want to see what you think about.
You know, when we had Doja on, man, probably about a week or two ago, we talked about Universe 25 and the collapse of the mice colony. And one of the aspects we talked about was mothers abandoning their children.
Right.
And that was the beginning and the precursor of the downfall of civilization. Anytime I see stuff like that, I'm thinking, you know, that looks like that's the beginning of what's about to happen. I mean, think about it. Anytime a mother abandons her child, she has to override her instincts to protect her child to do something else. And also, I'm glad you mentioned that because I was watching another video today of a young lady who was married, and she said her husband was perfect. You know what I'm saying? And he didn't do anything wrong. She just felt like she was trapped and wanted to get out because she didn't want to have the responsibility of having to look after somebody. You know what I'm saying? Even though he was taking care of the bills and all this other stuff or whatever. But she said that she lost herself. So whenever I see women giving up on family for no reason, it bothers me because the narrative has always been that men have been abusive to women and they've been cheating. Well, in these two cases, both of those men did neither one. So my thing is this: is it really the fault of the men, or is it something going on with the women that we probably need to address?
Yep. Because now you wait after so many years to say, I want to leave my husband and my children, and I want to move to another state, abandon the family altogether, just so I can have time to love myself.
Right.
All right. We got two other people in the back right now, man. We have none other than the incomparable. Our Pain is in the building, ladies and gentlemen.
Our Pain in the building.
Oh, what's going on, John?
What's going on, man? Coach Ferg is still shaving his head, so he should be up here in just a second. We'll have him up in a second. I think he just sent something in the private chat.
Yep.
Yeah. He's still shaving his legs. Hey, thank you so much, Trey, man. I appreciate you, my guy. I appreciate you, man. And guys, listen, if you want to celebrate with me, you want to show your boy some love, man, please, go do that. You know, you send me some instant love tonight, guys. We hit that 1 million views on this channel, man. That's a lot of work, a lot of hard work, a lot of entertainment for you guys to consume. And so if you want to give me some instantaneous appreciation, there's the Cash App that's scrolling at the bottom of the screen, man. Help your boy get a nice
I had this, pause or instantaneous appreciation, whatever.
Right.
Oh, yeah, there you go,
I guess that's a pause adjacent, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Asshole. But yeah, man, I appreciate you, man. And Our Pain that you're here, man. I want to tell you that I appreciate you too, man, for accepting the show, man, and then absolutely coming on Mondays and giving your political views of what you're seeing in the world today, man. So I appreciate you as well for coming and do that. I had another show idea. Boy, I gotta talk to y'all about it. It's gonna be a show that you can't be. You have to be 50 plus. You can't be under 50.
Under 50?
Yeah, you can't be under 50. It's 50 plus.
Be under 50. Yeah.
So all us young guys got to be out. We can't be on. Yeah, I'm gonna get it together. But yeah, man. So thank you guys again. I want to go to the chat, man, because actually we have Antoine in the building tonight. What's going on?
What's going on
in the building?
We got Braxton, the Snake Fiend, in the building, man. Thank you so much for being here. Trey, thank you for being here, my brother. We got Corn Pop in the building tonight. Nobody here. What's going on, man? Thank you for being here tonight, man. I appreciate you. We are going to have a great conversation tonight, man. I definitely wanted Coach Ferg to be in on this conversation tonight because there's no such thing as white privilege, Our Pain. Before we dive into the video for this show tonight, Our Pain, what are your thoughts? Do you believe in your heart that there is no such thing as white privilege?
Let me answer the first thing you asked Lit first though, about the ladies talking about leaving good men.
Yeah.
I think a fair amount of those women on TikTok saying that, I think they're the ops. Listen, I was thinking about doing a piece of this, right? What's more destructive than if, and this goes for all the men in the middle that are being ignored, right? We know the 20%, and on both sides of the spectrum, the Pookies and the Ray Rays that look handsome, they get laid. The rich men get laid. But the guys in the middle, that's who they're talking about. These are the good men. So what's the coup de grace? To convince women that even the best of men who have the best of intentions are still not good enough to marry. If you're married, not only from the outside, but from within the inside. And these women have these explanations on why they're leaving. And one of the things that sparked my thought on that is the overemphasis on how good these men are. These guys are, and then if you look at, and this, I mean, it's not all connected, but I'm extrapolating. Look at the Tia Mowry situation, right? They tried up and down to find that one blemish on my guy for this woman to leave him, and they couldn't find one, right? Because if they could find one, they would have, right? And she went around the whole world talking about, and of course, she just wanted to get laid. And, but so it's the destruction of your family. It's the degradation of your relationship with your man, your husband, a guy who's dedicated to you, and you put it on blast and you get accolades from other women. Millions of them. So, I mean, that's got to be part of I'm not every single woman's like that. Some women are just idiots. But some women, you got to say some of these women are plants. Some of them have to be. Because that's like the new trend, leaving a good man and emphasizing that. It's just a thought on top of my head. Man. I was just thinking about it. Well,
awesome. Yeah. We got Antoine in the building tonight, man. Thank you for being here, my brother. We also have the one and only, the bald-headed yellow wonder of the world. Sixth wonder of the world. Give it up. Put your damn hands together for the man who had more women than Elvis Presley.
Don't tell him that. He's gonna come up there.
Coach Ferg is in the building, ladies and gentlemen.
He's gonna say, "Yeah, I did."
What's good, Coach? Salute, man.
Okay, Coach.
What's going on, Coach Ferg, man? Thank you for being here, Coach Ferg. Also, thank you to you too, Antoine. Thank you for also coming by, man, and also being supportive of the channel as we hit our 1 million views yesterday. When you really think about that, man, 1 million, that's a lot. And I didn't even know it was headed that way until I started looking down. I was like, damn. Right? About 3 months ago, we was at 800,000. And I was like, wow. So I guess we're going to hit it one day. And they sent me a notification today. And some more stuff that I guess, when you hit 1 million views, they do certain things or whatever. We'll talk about that behind the scenes. But
those shorts really did something to that, though. Probably.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, shorts are amazing. Yeah. Yep. Especially when you have good people doing good shit. All right. When Lost in Translation when he cooked at the end of that show that night on that short, I mean, the numbers just skyrocketed. R-Pain, your numbers did really, really good yesterday after your show. Mr. Bennett, the gray area, they get the most. I don't know what they got going on over there. I guess they like their faces or something. They get the most. I posted their shorts, and I came back 45 minutes later. It was at 1,000. Mr. Bennett 8 1,200. I'm like, damn. So I guess they like to see Mr. Bennett's face or hear his voice or something. I don't know. I guess he got a sex appeal or something that they make him click on sex appeal. I don't know. But anyway, man. So we're having a good show tonight, man. Coach Ferg, I want to know your thoughts. Do you think? Oh no, I didn't get R-Pain's answer. Again, before we get started, guys, if you want to donate to the channel tonight, please go ahead and send your boy. And I ain't gonna say it no more because R-Pain gonna pause. But you can send me a cash app. You can send me a cash app. The cash app is scrolling at the bottom down there, man. You'll help me definitely in the morning. Get me a nice cup of coffee or a refresher from Starbucks, and or some other things. It doesn't matter. All right. So, R-Pain, do you think white privilege? There's no such thing as white privilege.
Listen, can I? I don't want to equivocate. The answer is I don't believe in white privilege the way people believe in it. because I think black people can try to define white privilege better than any white person.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a lot of lazy ass white people.
Okay.
I mean, lazy. They don't got no goddamn privilege. That's why they're so racist. Because they're saying, "Where's my privilege at?" Because they don't have it. The real truth of the matter is, privilege comes to people no matter what. I think there's more. I think what's more definitive about privilege is pretty privilege. I think if you look good, whether you're a man, woman, and it doesn't necessarily matter what color you are, doors tend to be a little bit slightly open for people who are appealing the way they look, right? And then you can fuck it up from there. But white people in general don't have any privilege. You know why? In the context of this being white, if there's like contrast from black, but you know why? Because you still got to do the work. You still got to do the work. That's where everybody gets that shit missing, man. Just because somebody might shake your hand, maybe they give you at a traffic stop, you're arguing with a black guy, a white cop might give you some deference. You might try to call that privilege because you're both white, but it depends on how the outcome comes. You know what I'm saying? So that's why you got to be real careful on those. But I don't really believe in privilege that way, because I never see, when I look at white people, I don't look at them as my competition. Oh, you're white, so you're going to get this shit over me. I've been promoted over white people too often to believe that. That's just my personal thing.
All right. So we'll go diagonal here. Coach Ferg, what are your thoughts? Do you believe there's a such thing as white privilege?
I mean, to our pain point, man, listen, I agree with him, especially when it comes to you have to put in the work. I agree with putting in the work grants you certain privileges into certain spaces by willing to do the work. And that privilege may not come immediately. It may come during the middle or end of that. As far as socially, we live in America. I mean, I could say yes in a larger regard, as far as having access to information and monies that most of us don't. But I don't consider someone just being privileged in regard to if they're my equal. I'm sort of indifferent about, the whole word, them having privilege over me. I understand I live in America. So on a greater picture, I understand as far as socially, yeah, the privilege ain't as grand as we would like to see it, but I've never been without privilege. Anywhere in America, any opportunity, I've been afforded opportunities. May not have chosen them all, but I think every American, black or white, has certain opportunities if they're willing to put in the work, and that's the key. So.
All right. Well, we'll go to you, Antoine. What's going on, man? Do you believe that there's a such thing as white privilege?
In a way, I think there is, because they're not judged by the same metrics as we are for us, especially a significant number of dynamics. You can have individuals do just a little bit and will still get the benefit of the doubt, and someone like us can do everything and then some, and they'll still find a way to say that we didn't do enough. I feel that's one aspect of privilege. Another aspect of privilege, and this is the type of privilege that both Coach Ferg and I have taken advantage of, even Trey and JT and Uncle Jeff, being in the military. We get certain privileges because of the fact that we were in the military. So in certain situations, because of that, we will get the benefit of the doubt. People will give us a pass just because. And, that does work in our favor. I do feel white privilege does work because it's almost as if you're always going to have that same demographic that's always can do just enough that no one will say anything, but everyone else could do more than enough and it's still not considered enough. So in a way, I do feel like there is such thing as white privilege. It's just, damn. The best way I could just put it is they get privileges in certain areas that we often don't get privileges, and we could do sometimes 5 times more, 5 times better, and it's still not enough. That's just my opinion on it.
All right. And then last but not least, Lost in translation. Do you believe there's a such thing as white privilege?
You know what? Here's my thing. I think a lot of times, man, it's more confirmation bias. You know what I mean? If you just so happen to be black, then they'll say, well, you got white privilege. And in some cases, there'll be white people that say, well, you know, black folks always get preferential treatment. They'll start hollering about DEI and all this other stuff, and they'll say, you know, well, black people get special treatment. But I always like to take a step back and look at the grand picture of things. I mean, when was the last time you watched a show like Cops and you saw an Asian dude getting beat up by the police? You know what I'm saying? If there's anything, it's an Asian privilege. You know what I'm saying? They don't take time out to whoop up on them and then turn around and put it on TV. You know what I'm saying? Every now and then they'll put some white folks on TV or whatever, and the cops will rough them up. But you know, just because I'm black, I always watch and see how they rough up the black folks. But I'm pretty sure there's a show somewhere in Asia where, you know, Asian people get roughed up by the police, but they just don't put that on TV. So my whole thing is this: I think it really has to do with whether or not if you're on the other side of the camera. You know what I mean? I like to look at a grander picture, and sometimes it boils down to the haves and the have-nots, and you have access, because I've seen situations where black people who have had money, whatever, have separated themselves and gone off to Martha's Vineyards and hobnob with some of the best people. You know what I mean? Just like some of the white folks do around about Labor Day. You know what I'm saying? They like to hang out. And they've been doing this since the beginning of time. So when they talk about privilege, I'm usually thinking about the haves and the have-nots. You know what I mean? And my whole thing is this: it really depends, because I'm pretty sure there's some poor white people and there's some poor black people. But my whole thing is this, man: sometimes when you take a step back and look at it, the greater picture, I think I see more injustice when it comes to the haves and the have-nots versus color. So it just so happens that it's more of them than it is us. So it sticks out whenever we talk about it, because it's more of them than it is us.
Absolutely. I do believe. We want to welcome to the show Uncle Jeff is in the building tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
The finest. What's happening, Jeff?
Jeff was good.
Black man, what's going on?
Yeah.
What's going on, Jeff?
So Uncle Jeff, real briefly here. Now I'm gonna play the video that's going to spark the conversation for tonight.
Yes,
Uncle Jeff, do you believe that there's a such thing as white privilege?
I absolutely believe there was. I think that it was necessary in order to keep this system moving. I believe that racism was a function of economics that is not necessarily needed as much anymore. Lyndon Baines Johnson said, if you can convince the lowest white man that he's worth more than the highest black man, you won't have to take his money. He'll come give it to you. So as you see white people wake up to the fact that this is the attack on the middle class is no longer fake, or it's no longer something that tinfoil hats talk about. It's no longer something that we can poo-poo away. They are seeing that their common privilege is being taken away like ours. But was there a time? Well, if there wasn't, then explain redlining. Explain gentrification. Explain the denial of loans to black people loans to banks. As a matter of fact, we're still dealing with that facet of it. So for the most part, the white privilege that still exists, I think exists on the very visceral levels. When you get pulled over by the police, when you are targeted electronically to make sure that you don't get loans. Those things are still in effect. So from that place, yes.
Okay. All right. Welcome, Beans, to the show tonight, man. What's going on, Beans, man? Good to have you on the show, brother.
What up?
What's happening, Beans?
So
What up, y'all?
Not right now, but it's gonna happen, Beats.
What's good, man?
So Beans, real briefly before I play the video, man. Welcome to the show tonight, man. Do you believe that white privilege exists?
Yeah, absolutely. I just think that I think what's starting to happen is because we have way more black people who are beginning to align themselves with quote unquote Republicans or conservatives. I think that they believe it's their duty to deny such things, to ignore whatever evidence may still be not just relevant but current. Right? I think that matters more. But I think because people like to say they think that one of the arguments I get a lot is that people think it's not about race anymore, it's about class. Right? They always say that to me. And classism has always existed, right? But the narrative is that race didn't, right? So understanding that even at the height of racism in this country, there was still classism, right? So that don't have anything to do with white. You know what I mean? It has absolutely nothing to do with white. We're talking about white privilege. The quickest example I can give, BMU, I looked it up right before I hit the link. How many towns in America are all white? Now, according to ChatGPT, it says no town is really 100% white. You get some that's in the 97, 98 percentile. But like it's always somebody there usually that is delegating themselves as other, right? But when you look on the county level, that's when you start seeing some places where it's 100% white. And I think that's right now probably the biggest glaring privilege that white folks have is that they live in a country where they outnumber everybody. Even if you add all the other races together, they still outnumber them, right? Almost. And that you have a privilege where you can go and be anywhere, almost anywhere in the country. You can find people who look like you, and you don't look like a stranger. You know what I'm saying? Like you, anytime as a black person, it's not 100%, but the majority of the time, probably 90% of the time, when you're trying to get a job as a black person, you got to go to somebody that don't look like you, and they have the privilege to always go to get these chances and these jobs and these positions and these benefits and these all these other things from people who look like them. And I think as a race, we tend as racists, we tend to be very tribal.
Okay. Now I want to play this video, which is where we're gonna get our food, spark our conversation from tonight. And we'll go from there. Here we go.
Sick and tired of hearing about privilege. Privilege isn't being white, bonehead. Privilege is living in government housing and calling people oppressors while they pay your bills. Get it? I'm done pretending that any of this bull makes sense. You want to talk about privilege? You want to talk about real privilege? Real privilege is wearing $200 sneakers when you haven't worked a day in your life. Privilege is walking around with $300 Beats headphones while you're living on food stamps, while you're on public assistance, and it's paid for by people who wake up and grind every day. Privilege is having the latest smartphone with unlimited data and having zero idea where the bill goes because somebody else is always picking up the tab. Privilege is being able to protest every little thing that offends you without worrying about calling in sick to work because you don't have a job. Privilege is being able to cheat, lie, fail over and over again in life and still get bailed out while people who play by the rules get punished. That's privilege. This isn't about race. This isn't about class. This is about accountability. We've got a culture that rewards victimhood and demonizes work ethic and responsibility. Meanwhile, the people holding everything together for the rest of society, they get taxed into the ground. Their businesses get choked by regulation, and they get personally vilified for speaking up and saying that this is full. You want to talk about privilege? Then start with the people who've never paid the price, but who also scream the loudest. Because they've never had to build anything. They've never had to defend anything. They've never had to carry any real weight. And the reason they get away with it, it's because we don't live in a society of strong men anymore. No, that's been dismantled on purpose over the last 50 years. Because a society of strong men would never put up with any of this. And that's exactly why they came after us first.
And he is so deadly accurate, yo. Y'all been sending me videos of people that have been hitting on every single point. And let's just be absolutely clear. And the reason why they have to talk like this, and when I say they, I'm talking about white people that are disgusted at what the cultural norms are, and black people basically complaining. And I don't even think it's black people, of course. I think it's black culture. And there's a certain demographic of people, of black people, that are the loudest. They complain the most. Every single thing is racism. They've never experienced racism. They've never employed nobody. They've never actually went and did the things that would make you a productive member of society. They always talk about tax the rich, and then let's throw in the white apologists on top of that. You know, I was watching and then I reviewed a video of a black woman that was going off on a black guy that was working at Walmart. And the white woman at the end, if you watched it all the way to the end, was apologizing to the woman. And she wasn't even familiar with the fact that the woman had basically offended and threw off and was trying to fight the guy that was just doing his job at Walmart. And so every last one of these people are easily offended, but never take any accountability for the role that.
All right. That was our video for tonight, man. The one and only video for tonight. Anton agrees with that sentiment. And I just want to get you what you guys think. And we'll start with Coach Ferg and we'll move around. Coach Ferg, after watching that video, do you agree with our white counterpart there?
I mean, yeah, that's how white people move. They lazy. See, they want us to do all the work for chicken feet. You know, I mean, even if that is any of us, it's a small number. You know, it's a small number, yeah. But those things about us get highlighted the most. The problem is we highlight them and we sort of are afraid to get away from them for the most part. But when other people speak about, you know what I'm saying, the minority of, and it ain't, I don't know, you talking about, I don't know, man. I just come from a mindset where I believe and I always see that most brothers are wanting to work at different stages of their life. But most white people, yeah, they lazy today. That's why the white men are complaining because the white boys coming behind them are getting a little lazy. But the brothers are finding a way to build. And I think it's a good space. It seems harsh, but for brothers, yeah, the fact that they talking about it and then moving different, it'll pay off in the end, though. So even though the mass of us, I guess living in America, yes, we can see how the laws have always been sort of subjugated. But I still think that you can create privilege as an individual and build from there. So.
All right. But, you know, Uncle Jeff, do you agree with the white counterpart in the video that we're lazy and we got $200 headphones on, we don't do nothing, and the white people are footing the bill for all of our laziness, and we don't build anything, we don't do nothing? Uncle Jeff, hold on, let me rephrase the question to you. If the guy was on the show right now, after you heard the video and he was here right now, and you had an opportunity, just you and him with no interruptions, and you had something to say to him, what would you say to the man in the video?
Number one, that you have fallen prey to poverty being painted, the face of poverty being painted as black, when the true drag and parasite on the economy from a welfare standpoint has always been your people. Number two, the systemic money that my people spend does not come from your taxpayer money the way you think. That money comes from money that they make legitimately and then spend illegitimately. Number three, you are and most importantly, you are free to think and feel whatever you like about me and my people, because it has absolutely no effect on what we have to do, what you did, how much of it you will own. What we have to do is outside of what you have to say. So you can say whatever you like. Just don't get in our way and understand that we are not our grandparents. It ain't going to go like you think, Playboy. You're going to find out in front of everybody you brought with you.
Beans. Your thoughts?
I think he did a really good job of being slick and not necessarily blaming black people. Um, Also, to Cellulite Podcast, if you watching, this is why I want to debate Anton. Right? Uh, I think I really would like. I really was gonna break this video down on my show because I wanted to go piece by piece on what he said, right? To kind of show you how the things that he will highlight. So if you take one of the things that he said about the privilege of wearing $200 sneakers when it probably costed $3 to make the sneaker, that's not a privilege, right? To have to pay $200 for some sneakers, right? Some sneakers that won't tear up or, whatever, that are fashionable, right? That's not necessarily a privilege. I get it that he's trying to put all this focus on people who are quote unquote on welfare, but the average person only stays on welfare for 2 to 5 years. Not only that, everybody pays into it and nobody actually pays into it. What does that mean, Beans? What that means is everybody pays taxes somehow, some way, whether it's your income or whether or not you're purchasing things. Everybody pays taxes. So everybody pays into the system. But then at the same time, not a single dollar taken from you actually goes towards those benefits because it goes towards the interest on money borrowed. So you don't actually pay for the shit. So it's just a talking point that people like to say to kind of make themselves feel better. But he didn't talk about corporate welfare, right? It's just I can't have the conversation that I want to have with y'all that I really would have had with him in real time. Because I can't even remember half the shit that he said because I be tuning people out. But that's why I said I wanted to break it down so I can go point by point just to kind of show you most of the time, BMU, most of the time, Lit, people just be talking. They just be saying things that they think they're supposed to say based on the thing that they're telling the world they believe. Right? I'm a Republican, Democrat, I'm going to say this. I'm black, I'm white, I'm going to say this. I'm tall, I'm short, I'm going to say this. I'm skinny, I'm fat, I'm going to say this. Whatever you is, they got a program of the stuff that you're supposed to say. But people don't really think for themselves. And this is just another case of that.
All right. Thank you for that, man. Welcome, Miss Jenny, to the show tonight, man. What's going on, sweetheart? Good to see you. Good to see you. I'm gonna hop up here to our pain. Our pain. When you were listening to the Caucasian Persuasion, what were your thoughts? Do you agree with him?
No, I don't agree with him from the standpoint. I was thinking that he was arguing about people feeling entitled to the money that they didn't work for. I don't call that privilege. I think that he's talking about entitlements where people, whether they deserve them or not, whether they're in a pickle or not, it happens, but that doesn't give them any real privilege. The conversation I had yesterday with the gentleman, which surprised me, is about SNAP, right? Saying you can't buy, now some states saying you can't buy bullshit food with it. You got to buy real nutritious stuff. And everybody was against me because they said, well, people should be able to buy whatever they want. Yeah, with the money that you earn, yeah. But if you're asking for some fucking money from somebody, how are you gonna be mad if they're giving you something, to bail you out and they have some strings attached? Like, so I mean, and we had a conversation. It didn't really get that deep, but they really thought that, hey, shit, I should be able to buy what I want to buy. Well, if you're accepting this money, you should help. You got to accept some of the conditions that come with it. And buy a couple of dollars, use your own money to buy the other stuff. So anyway, just like with my family, I don't want to get too far off. If they ask me for money, $500, for example, I say, I'm not going to loan. I got $400, but I'm going to give it to you. It's not a loan. Here's the $400. That's all I have. But here it is. You don't have to pay me back because you know why? Because I don't want you hate me for the money because you're going to take this money, you're going to use it the way you want. And you may not do the shit you told me you were going to do with it, but I don't want to think about that. So here it is not a loan. So because if I make it a loan and they can't pay me back, and I see them fucking around, every time they see me, they think that I'm thinking about the money, and that's where resentment comes in, right? So the way I tie that in is, people, if you want something from somebody, there might be conditions attached. If you don't like the conditions, don't take the goddamn money. So I think he's talking about entitlements and not necessarily people feeling entitled, but not necessarily privileged. Not in the context of what we call about privilege. That's not the same way as getting deference in a corporate boardroom.
So Art Payne, let me add a room on to your bed, to your house here for a second. So you said the $500. So let's stay right there for a second.
Right.
For instance, when you were in college,
right,
the cousin that asked you for $500 as right now, when you were in college, he gave you, say for instance, he gave you $6,000 when you were in college and never asked for it back. But then 25, 30 years later, he asked you for 500. Does he have a right to ask you for 500 and not pay you back?
Okay, so we're assuming he loaned me some money before.
Yeah, he gave you some money when you were in college and never asked for it back.
If I have $500 and he needed it, I'm gonna give it to him.
Okay.
There will be no questions asked. If I have it, I'd give it to him. I wouldn't forget a favor like that.
Now, the reason that I said that is because most people look at it like this. Okay. And Beans may agree with me on this, or maybe not. I don't know. But most people will look at this and say, if you look at the history of this country, in that video, that man says, basically, you niggas ain't built nothing. Well, we all know that this country was built by black people, everything. And you got your wealth from cotton, which was one of the highest producing things in the country. And you have black people doing it for free.
In the world.
Right. And statistically, if we look at the numbers, on average, there is $1 trillion worth of free labor that was done by slaves in the United States. Over $1 trillion,
if not more.
If not more.
Right.
And now black people, I'm just giving a different perspective. Now black people are getting food stamps, $200, $300 worth of food stamps, and they saying niggas are lazy. Niggas don't want nothing. Niggas walk around with $200 while we footing the bill. Well, ain't that kind of contradictory, because you owe us $1 trillion.
Exactly.
If you owe us $1 trillion, why are you getting mad because people asking for food stamps?
You're giving him more credit. You're giving that guy more credit in that conversation that he deserves. There's no white people think that way at all, man. But I hear what you're saying. But you're giving him more credit than he deserves.
I'll just give him a different perspective.
But I think the way you got to look at it, though, BMU. First of all, it's about $14 trillion, according to research. $14 trillion of American wealth that exists today is residual from the slave trade. But we got about 160 something trillion, right? So almost 10% of today's wealth is still based in residuals from slavery. But I just want to say this, bro. Sometimes I hate that I think the way that I do. Nobody wants to work. Anybody who says they want to work is a liar. Nobody wants to work. What you want to do is be creative. What you may want to do is be productive. But work means that you have to get up and you have to go in. And if you don't get up and you don't go in, your life is going to be in hell. Nobody wants that. Who the hell wants that? Nobody would hey, listen, for the rest of your life now, you don't have to work no more. You good. Here's $1 billion. Who's turning that down? Not nobody. Right? So this whole idea of people not wanting to work is some bullshit. Nobody wants to work. But people, I believe, in my opinion, after the pandemic and having to sit down, actually started valuing their time more. I think that's what really happened. that a lot of people was like, man, I just sat down and it wasn't that bad. You know what I'm saying? This little assistance wasn't that bad. This little, stimulus checks and all this other stuff kind of wasn't that bad. And okay, I went and got the job working from home. This remote working, this ain't that bad. All that I got to get up and run in when I could just roll up out the bed, lift my computer up and start typing. I kind of like this, right? But let them say right now, hey, we paying $35 an hour to come pick this cotton. I guarantee it's gonna be a whole bunch of niggas out there picking cotton. They just need to stop with this narrative. It don't got nothing to do with people. These people don't want to work. No, don't nobody want to work, man. People just understand their time is more valuable. Folks is dying, bro. Ain't nobody making it living no long ages. We lost Theo, he was 54. They say it was a drowning. I don't believe that shit. We just lost D from what's happening today. She was 60. Right? Like people understand that their time is valuable now. I think that's really what it is.
Miss Jenny, thank you for being here tonight, sweetheart. I want to get you in on the conversation. Miss Jenny, do you believe that there's a such thing as white privilege?
I believe that. I don't believe that there is anymore.
Okay. All right. What about let me move on to Lost in Translation and we get back on there in there.
Yeah, I think Antoine is
Antoine, okay. Antoine,
yeah,
you ready?
and I'll go next.
Okay. Antoine, what do you think about the video, sir?
It sounded like he just wanted to make some noise and make it sound like he was doing or saying something important. Like, what makes you think that people who are on public assistance are wasting money? My wife bought $200 pair of Beats headphones. Why? Because she likes Beats headphones. She has the money. She wants it. She likes the quality. Plain and simple. Okay, I didn't spend no $300 on a pair of sneakers. I might have gotten them on sale for $55, $65 because the place that I got them from was going out of business. I remember paying, I think, like $55 for a pair of Kevin Durant sneakers that were valued at around $130, $135. And I think if I remember, the place was going out of business. I got a real good deal on it. He just wanted to make it sound like as if people who are on welfare or abusing it to do whatever they want, and he feels like, well, I'm paying for your stuff. Bruh, no, you're not. No, you're not. Because last I checked, the majority of people that are on public assistance don't look like us. That's number one. Number two, just because I have $200 Beats headphones or $300 sneakers, it don't mean that I'm just sitting home doing nothing. I probably have a job, and you don't even realize that. I've been at my job for, as of September, will be 28 years. Gainfully employed. So, just because I have something that you don't have, or I have something and you don't like the fact that I have it, I shouldn't have to prove to you how I purchased these items. It has nothing to do with the fact that it was nefarious. It doesn't have to do with the fact that it was illegal. It doesn't have to do with the fact that it was abusing the system. I got a job. You want to go see? You want me to show you my W-2s? You want me to show you my tax returns for the last 28 years at my job? I just feel like there are individuals who always find a reason to complain and bitch and moan over something, especially if it's with individuals that don't look like them. And I feel like it goes back to that saying, and Miss Jenny, I know you're religious, and apologies for the language, but it sounds like, what's the one thing a white man with a dime hates the most is a nigga with a quarter. That's what I got out of it. It's like, if we have anything that's nice, we have to prove to everyone that it was legally obtained. That's what I got out of it. It sounded like he just wanted to make some noise just for the sake of making noise to make it seem like he was saying something, and all he had was diarrhea in the mouth and constipation of the brain. And I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Okay. All right. And go ahead and Lost in Translation.
You know what? I like to take a look back at what we're really looking at, because sometimes I think people fall victim to the algorithm.
Yeah.
You
want to pull it back up and go through it?
No, I got something better than that.
Okay, good.
Oh shit!
You know, when I pull out my sword, I like to cut. You know what I'm saying? So here's the thing: as he stands on his acreage, you know what I mean. I can't help but think that you're standing on top of your privilege. You know, looking down upon other people, and like Antoine said, worrying about how they got what they got. You know what I mean? And it's mighty funny that people forget that true capitalism is letting the winners win on their own, and letting the losers lose on their own. I can distinctly remember back in 2008 when we had all these mortgage-backed securities failing, and we had the banks failing, and then we had the car companies failing. I do distinctly remember people coming to Capitol Hill asking the people who worked for a loan to bail them out. You know what I'm saying? And then here's my whole thing. Here's the rub about that. When you have companies that don't produce the top of the line products that are A, affordable, B, that are durable, you see what I'm saying, and C, you know, you're the top of the line as far as competition is concerned. And when I think about stuff like that, I think it's mighty high of them to sit up there and tell people they need to get up off of their bootstraps, but at the same time you're making a bunch of trash. You know, I'll give you an example. This whole situation with TikTok, they're gonna sit up here and muscle them up out of their algorithm because they made something that was a little bit better than anything that we can make, and then they're gonna turn around and use it under the guise of, well, this is Chinese involvement, they're spying on us. Well, guess what? Our own government spies on us. You know what I'm saying? Even when we had refugees leave this country, it's like, man, y'all ain't gonna believe this. They've been watching us the whole time, you know? But at the same time, they'll sit up here and they'll let people innovate on the other side of the world and tell us that they're bad while we subsidize the trash that we make over here. They don't think about the people who actually get in those trucks every day and drive those beats, you know what I'm saying, to the stores. They don't think about the people that get up and design those boxes, you know, at these other places to go on those beats. They don't understand that the person who fills up the tanks, who moves the forklifts, who pulls all that stuff, generally most of those people who do the labor look like me. You know what I mean? And then on top of that, when we do pull ourselves up by our bootstraps, for some strange reason, they'll figure out a way how to tear our stuff up. So that's going to lead me into the video that I found. And I want to share with y'all. Anytime we want to pull ourselves up by our bootstrap, there's always somebody there hating, and then they want to turn around and mess us up. So I
wonder why so many black neighborhoods got wiped off the map in the 1950s
Yes,
and
sir.
60s. Follow Black South if you're done accepting whitewashed history as true.
Everybody mute.
This wasn't random. It was policy. When President Eisenhower ever wonder why so many black neighborhoods got wiped off the map in the 1950s and 60s? Follow Black South if you're done accepting whitewashed history as truth. This wasn't random. It was policy. When President Eisenhower launched the interstate highway system in 1956, cities across the South suddenly had the funds and the green light to redevelop. But what they really did was destroy. In Nashville, Tennessee, I-40 was deliberately routed straight through a thriving black community. Over 1,400 homes and 80 businesses were bulldozed, even though alternate routes through less populated areas were proposed. In Montgomery, Alabama, the freeway sliced directly through the Centennial Hill neighborhood, home to black doctors, teachers, and lawyers. The same happened in Durham, in Charlotte, in Baton Rouge, over and over again. These weren't accidents. These routes were chosen to gut the heart of black economic and cultural power, to eliminate political influence, to destroy generational wealth. They called it urban renewal, but for black communities, it was the same old strategy: displacement by design, and the effects still visible, still felt. still unrepaired. So tell me, how many of these roads do you drive every day, not realizing they were paved over somebody's home, church, or business? Comment below if your city did the same, and follow Black South so these stories don't stay buried.
I'm not
So,
surprised because something like that actually did happen here in New Jersey a long time back. There's
right,
a road that connects the East Coast to the West Coast, Interstate 80.
right.
And what happened is, and a friend of mine I went to high school with found the video in the public library and posted it on his YouTube page. And what they did was they wanted to connect Interstate 80 to a certain part of New York City, because if you take Interstate 80, if I remember, it will take you towards the George Washington Bridge into New York. What they did was they literally bulldozed through certain parts of neighborhoods in northern New Jersey around where I grew up, in certain areas. Like there are neighborhoods where you have this highway coming through, and our parents from Jersey, so he knows what I'm talking about. And this road connects not only to the Garden State Parkway, it also connects to the New Jersey Turnpike, and it connects to a couple other roads in Jersey City that takes you to the city. That road is Interstate 280. And the reason why it was intentionally called 280 is because it connects 80 to certain parts going into New York City, to the Holland Tunnel. And that's why it was intentionally called Interstate 280, because now you can take Interstate 80, get on that road, and it'll take you all the way to the Holland Tunnel. And this was something that happened right around that same time as well. So it wasn't just in the South. It happened in the Northeast. It happened up here as well. Like you go to certain towns around my way, and literally you will see a freeway right down the middle. Right down the middle. And people were shocked. Like, and a lot of you'd be surprised how many people never knew that happened. So I've heard some stories about a lot of these things that happened in the South, but it's happened up here as well. It's happened up here a lot. Most people don't even realize.
And the killer part about it, they're still doing it. They're still doing it. You know what I mean? So here's my whole thing. When gentlemen like that like to get on their high horse, they for some reason they have select memory. And they don't understand that this type of stuff happens all the time. But you know what? Whoever writes the history books get to tell their story. So I'm so glad that we have the internet so we can actually add some context to the whole entire story instead of what you decide you want to put in a history book. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's important for us to write down exactly what happened so people don't go around cherry picking and try to make people feel like they're bad. Because if you ask me, I think black people are pretty much industrious if we left alone. Don't you think, Jeff? Mr. Businessman. You're on mute, Jeff. Still on mute, Jeff.
All right, how's that?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
There you go.
Without question, gents, when Brother Man said not just the South, you have to understand that this interstate highway system, from the giddy up, from the planning table, the same way that you see gentrification in every city at the same time. Brothers and sisters, that's a lot of concrete. That's a lot of glass. That's a lot of bulldozers. That's a lot of bricks. To happen at one time, this is systematic planning. And what I'm happy to say is that there are people who tell me I have my tinfoil hat on, that tell me that I'm a conspiracy theorist, which you really, by the way, that's not an insult anymore. Conspiracy theorists are batting 1,000. But people who tell me that I'm an extremist or I'm a victim for having these opinions, number one, What do we call survivors of the Holocaust? We call them victims. What do we call survivors of Hiroshima and Nagasaki? We call them victims. So victim isn't a bad word. And lastly, the number one ingredient in ridicule is give a fuck. I don't give a fuck how anybody outside of the people who are willing to work with me and the people inside of my tribe feel about how I feel. I don't need your permission to think the way I think or move the way I move. Fine. I'm all of that shit. We finna do this. That's where I'm at.
Let me go ahead and get Miss Jenny, and then we're gonna hit our pain back. And we're gonna double back to Coach Ferg and Beans and then Antoine. Miss Jenny, what are your thoughts on the video?
I think it's interesting that now I missed the first video. I believe it was that you guys showed, I guess, about some guy talking about something. And so I don't know. I feel
I can run
like
it back to context if you want me to.
is it super prevalent or is it just like was a whole different
it
topic?
pretty much is. Yeah, I think you need to see it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let me run it back one more time for the cardio.
Sick and tired of hearing about privilege. Privilege isn't being white, bonehead. Privilege is living in government housing and calling people oppressors while they pay your bills. Get it? I'm done pretending that any of this bull makes sense. You want to talk about privilege? You want to talk about real privilege? Real privilege is wearing $200 sneakers when you haven't worked a day in your life. Privilege is walking around with $300 Beats headphones while you're living on food stamps, while you're on public assistance, and it's paid for by people who wake up and grind every day. Privilege is having the latest smartphone with unlimited data and having zero idea where the bill goes because somebody else is always picking up the tab. Privilege is being able to protest every little thing that offends you without worrying about calling in sick to work because you don't have a job. Privilege is being able to cheat, lie, fail over and over again in life and still get bailed out while people who play by the rules get punished. That's privilege. This isn't about race. This isn't about class. This is about accountability. We've got a culture that rewards victimhood and demonizes work ethic and responsibility. Meanwhile, the people holding everything together for the rest of society, they get taxed into the ground. Their businesses get choked by regulation, and they get personally vilified for speaking up and saying that this is bullshit. You want to talk about privilege? Then start with the people who've never paid the price, but who also scream the loudest. Because they've never had to build anything. They've never had to defend anything. They've never had to carry any real weight. And the reason they get away with it, it's because we don't live in a society of strong men anymore. No, that's been dismantled on purpose over the last 50 years. Because a society of strong men would never put up with any of this bull. And that's exactly why they came after us first.
And he is so...
Okay, fuck.
We got to hear what Antoine said. Go ahead, Miss Jenny.
Okay. So so seeing that in light of the second video, I think it's really interesting because I can understand where he's coming from. Like how Black Man was saying, like this analogy of, you know, if you give someone some money and then 30 years later, then if you ask for some money back, then, you know, isn't it fair? You know, the Black people of today aren't the Black people that were slaves. And so it seems like a lot of people, and I think someone was saying right as I was coming in, is that, you know, something about how I can't remember now exactly, but, you know, the Black people that are here today that are on this government assistance, you know, they're not the same ones that were the people that, you know, made the $1 trillion or so that was from slavery. And so I can understand people's frustration when they feel like the Black people of today are entitled, because even if reparations were something that were even relevant or appropriate, would they be deservingly going to people that are 6-7 generations down the line? You know, that's up for debate. So I think that at the end of the day, we can't change what happened. But if you have an attitude of, well, this is what I deserve, and, you know, the world or my country has just constantly, you know, downtrodden me, and, you know, I can't get ahead, then I just think that that's a very negative mindset, and then that is just going to do you a big disservice, and that you're never really going to get ahead. So I think that what's important is to understand that, you know, whatever fully happened, you know, 100 years ago or 60 years ago doesn't have to affect you now. You know, we choose how we move in today's world day by day. And a lot of Black people choose to not be affected by that. And I think that's what's best.
But it's not about choosing it. Like that's the point, right? I heard Hamp say something on his show recently that most people stay in the same economical demographic that they were born and raised in, right? So you don't typically see people who were raised in the projects become millionaires. You don't typically see people who were raised in middle income become super upper class middle income, right? They usually be right there in the middle in the middle class, right? Like it's not about you choosing it. It's people who are affected by things that have been done historically, right? To this day, they exist. It's just that simple. Having a job don't mean you're not affected. Having a wife or a husband doesn't mean you're not affected. Giving birth to a child doesn't mean you're not affected. Having a degree doesn't mean you're not affected. It's all about how you're affected by whatever it is that you were affected by. You got some people who I asked the question once before lit. I'll ask this panel because it seemingly I think everybody's pretty much on the same footing. When did oppression end? What year? Please be specific. We all agree that it existed, correct? This is not rhetorical. We all agree that there was a point when systemic oppression existed, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Definitely.
What year did it end?
It never did.
Okay,
It
so
ended in
if you
2008.
think okay, so there we go. That's what I want somebody who actually think it ended, right? So you said it ended in 2008. Why?
Because we elected a Black president.
Okay. So you believe that the Black president had anything to do with systemic oppression of poor people?
Yes, because I believe that it's a mindset that keeps us poor. Like in the
Mhm.
example that you gave, people are born poor and they usually don't rise above that. Well, that is their choice because how you move as an adult is entirely based on your decision making.
Yes, but the thing that it makes it sound like what you're saying is true, but the reason why it's not true, right, is because we don't get to determine what incomes are in America, right? So most people put it to you like this: the median income is the median income, not because people don't want to work, because that's what businesses pay. That's how business works. You get into business and you don't say, you know what? I think I put it to you like this. All these women who come on these panels and say men need to make six figures, I guarantee you if they started a business today, they wouldn't pay their male employees six figures.
No,
They would
wouldn't.
understand very quickly that that's not how business works, right? You're trying to make the most money while giving out the least. So my point is that if the median income was 100K, then 100K would just be worth what 50K is worth today. It wouldn't change anything. And it's not because people don't want to work. People go to work. People have jobs. People go to school. 60% of people who get degrees don't even have jobs in the field that they get degrees in. Right? So it's not that people don't do these things. They do, but the world isn't set up for everybody to be rich, for everybody to be wealthy, for everybody to even be six figures. It's a reason why it's only 15% of the people who meet that mark. And it ain't because people don't go to work. You can't say that because the president was black, that somehow now stops the systemic oppression or them needing to maintain a level of mediocrity amongst the majority of people, I would argue, right? Because if everybody has money, then money won't be valuable. They can't even allow that to be the case. Why do you think we just had the pandemic?
Well, I feel like you're kind of arguing two separate things, because you're talking about one, people being held back by systemic oppression, and then you're talking about people making six figures when you're not oppressed if you make $50,000 a year. Like, you can be comfortable and be just fine, be totally average and live at the median and not have, you know, systemic powers holding you back, you know?
Except for that's now how the world treats you. That's not how women treat men. Sorry, sis. You know we all love you. I promise you that is not our experiences out here. It's not.
Let me move on to our pain.
Wait,
Our
but
pain. Let me ask you a question. Go ahead. Go ahead, Beans.
I'm saying, dude, but can we land on this? Systemic oppression didn't end in 2008, right? Just because we had a black president, nothing changed. Marijuana, it's still people in jail for that right now. Right? Why it's a whole bunch of white people out here making millions of dollars off of marijuana, and it's still people in jail for marijuana to this day. Right?
Control drug laws.
That's still going on. Meanwhile, the Sackler family, all they had to do was write a check, and they got off of all the millions of people who died behind them lying about their drugs. Right? Like, that's still going on to this day. We talk about the way that the welfare was used against black people to stifle them. Well, this man is making an argument that that's still relevant to this day. So if welfare was a tool of systemic oppression and it's still going on today, how could systemic oppression not exist?
Because you choose to be on welfare. No one makes you be on welfare. You can choose to get the skills and the education to earn a six-figure job. You can choose to not do that and be on the government assistance, or you can choose whatever path you want. And the reason why I say that systemic oppression ended in 2008 is because if you saw a person that said that they were black as the president of the United States, then that should have shattered all mental barriers for you to say, I can do whatever I choose to do in America. That's the whole point.
But you just said, but sis, you just said that it should have. And you have a white man who just made a video in 2025 arguing that it didn't. That
for some people
have these demographic of people out here right now, right? And here's the other thing about it. Let me ask you this question. This is kind of personal, but if you can't answer it, have you ever filed your children on your taxes?
No, because I don't work, so I don't pay taxes.
Okay, so rest in peace, but your husband probably did though, right?
Our son's only 8 months, so
that was the first child you had?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Here's my question then. Would you have filed?
Sure.
Yeah.
That's welfare. Why would you need
don't you have to file your children?
But here's the thing. You're saying that you would have. So if you didn't need it, why would you file?
Don't you have to do that? Don't you have to file all your
dependents? You do not have to file your children on your taxes. Absolutely.
Oh, I didn't know that. So you're teaching me something.
Right? So, this is what I'm saying. But people do. People do it all the time, but they look at everybody else and say, "Oh man, you get food stamps." And people who file their kids on their taxes get more welfare than people who get housing assistance. That's a fact. Use your Googles, and it's not even close.
Okay, if I could, I'd like to push back just a little bit on that. Welfare, as it is given to people of the state, is not given to people who are or by design. It's not given to people who are seen to have gainful means of employment. Taxes and welfare are two entirely different animals. We've had this conversation before.
What are you suggesting?
I'm suggesting that people who get money back on their taxes, first off, the money that you get back on your taxes is not anything other than your money to begin with.
What? That's irrelevant.
When you give welfare, that's other people's money.
No, that's irrelevant,
That's very no. That's where we disagree. It's absolutely relevant. It is the entire point of my argument. Is that this is the way Bill Cosby put it. Somebody is flying an airplane. Bill Cosby put it was on the pilot of the Cosby Show when he sits down with Theo and Monopoly money. He says the government comes for the regular people first. This is what taxes is. When you're working with your 9-digit social security number, taxes go like this. Before I give you all of your money, I'm going to take out what I want to and use it as an interest-free loan. And then at the end of the year, you have to convince me how much of your money you get back. When you work through an EIN, when you separate yourself from your social security number, you are given all of your money, and the government asks, tell me why you don't owe me 30%. That's different. And in that math, welfare isn't involved at all. Welfare is when people who are the chief problem is the lumping of the two together, because welfare, which by the way most black people are not in, and most people in welfare are not black. Those are two facts. Yeah,
I'm gonna ask you this question, and
sure.
I'm begging that you just answer it.
Mm-hmm.
Why do they owe you back money for taking care of your own kids that you brought into the world?
Because they took my money in the first place. Because
that's not an answer on why they owe it back to you.
Why do they owe it back to me? Because
why do they owe you money? Everybody pays taxes. So why should you get back some money? Why should you not have to pay taxes just because you had a child?
Because there are certain things that when you get my money, you're taxing me twice. That's what I'm saying. When I get my check,
everybody goes through that.
I'm trying to yes, and everybody shouldn't. I'm going to try to explain. Can I have a little more space to answer your question? Yes or no?
That's irrelevant.
Okay, then no.
That's what I'm trying to say. That it's irrelevant what you're saying they're doing. I'm saying for you, me, everybody else, we all pay taxes. I don't have a kid. I don't get this money back. You had sex and made a baby. Somehow you deserve some money back?
Yes.
That's what it's for.
Yes. No. You won't. This is very easy to explain with the rest of the answer that you don't want.
I don't understand why we have to be disingenuous.
No, I'm not being disingenuous. I'm trying to answer your question. Now, you either want the answer or you don't, and I'm fine either way.
But what I'm saying is what you're saying right now isn't true.
Okay,
they're literally giving you the money back for your child. That's why it's called a child tax.
Okay, you're right. I'm wrong. Next up,
Beans, if I may, to answer your question,
bro, what's wrong
without being facetious. Without being facetious,
it's hard not to be because you're dead. You are so elementary in your understanding of tax law, and I'm not even an accountant.
To explain the law. I'm not asking you about the law. I'm asking you a simple question.
Sure.
Why do you deserve to get your money back for your child?
And I'm trying to explain it, and you won't, but you don't want that part.
Go ahead, bro. I'm muted. I'm done. Y'all got it.
Okay, great. Here's why. Because when you take taxes out of my money before I even ever give, who gives a shit? It's not for him. It's for people who may be confused that need this in the future. This is where you guys get all wound up because a nigga don't like what you got to say. I'm not talking to that nigga. I'm talking to people right now and in the future who want a very basic, very rudimentary explanation of tax law. When I get my check from my company, they have taken tax out. When I go to pay for things for my children, those things are taxed again. That's not supposed to happen. So they are supposed to give me that money back to me. Now, is the tax code screwed up? Absolutely. Do rich people go through loopholes to not pay it? Of course. But again, Beans, you have a point. You the wrong nigga to make it.
No, I'm absolutely the right nigga to make it.
Okay.
You're just being disingenuous.
Okay.
right?
Well, I'm good with that. I thought we were done. I'm good with that. You're right. I'm wrong.
I don't want to accept what is absolutely true.
I certainly
You're making
don't.
an argument right now that's applicable to every single motherfucking person who has a job and spends money, whether they have kids or not.
No, I'm not.
That law that you did, that what you just said existed, happens to everybody if they have a job and they buy things.
Of course it does.
Okay, so
But
that's
the tax law
irrelevant.
says the tax law. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's not because of the tax law, and the tax law says that you can't be taxed twice for your children. That's it. Now you can get mad, you can blow up and bust. I didn't make the law, and I'm not wrong.
It's irrelevant because
Okay.
it's your welfare.
Okay.
That's the point.
I tell you what,
you could say it.
I got an
however you
idea.
want to, right?
I got an idea.
No, I got an idea. Right?
Debate with you.
You can
I'm
say
done.
it however you want to say it. At the end of the day, right? It's still welfare. That same thing that you just stated happens to every single person, regardless of whether or not they have a kid or not, right? So you get taxed when you get your check, they take money out of it. You get taxed when you go buy shit. That's every single motherfucker in the country. That's everybody, right? The difference is that when you have a kid, which is why a lot of people who don't have kids don't even file taxes because they know they ain't getting shit back, right? But when you have a kid, they are allotting and saying, we will give you this fucking fair, right? This welfare, that's exactly what the child tax credit is. That's exactly what the earned income tax credit is. It's welfare. Period, point blank.
I'm trying really hard to agree with you. I'm trying really hard to agree with you. I thought I said you were right a couple of minutes ago. I'm not sure who you're arguing with now.
Can I ask the question?
Come on, Coach Ferg.
Hey, Beans, are you saying that there's a lot of people out there, and I'm not saying a lot, you saying there's people out there making over $35,000 a year not filing taxes?
I wasn't even touch that.
Probably.
Hey, listen, if you're making over $35,000 a year, file your taxes.
Please.
If you don't have children.
But wait, that's it. But wait,
No,
let me see. This is why I say it's disingenuous.
listen.
Do you know how many people don't actually make that much?
It's quite a bit, at least.
But yes. So my statement was still relevant, wasn't it?
But
That
what
is a
I'm-
lot of fucking
yeah.
people who don't file taxes.
But what I'm
because they
saying
ain't
is-
getting shit back.
But what I'm saying is, if you're not under the poverty level, file your taxes.
Okay, we
Well,
got it, bro. I don't know how this
yeah.
became a tax
No,
law
I'm just
show,
saying.
right?
But
What we were
no,
talking about
no,
what
you
was
said
said
it's a
in
lot.
that
I was just going back.
video,
That's
right?
why I asked you.
I got you. What we were talking about, what was said in the video, the man was making a specific point, and the sister was agreeing with some of what he was saying. But what I'm saying is this: the same people who talk shit about people who get welfare get welfare. Make it make fucking sense. I don't give a shit what excuse you think you have to get it. You get it. I don't give. You could say it's in the tax law. All of the shit is in law. That's why anybody get any of the shit that they get. It's because they qualify for it. It's that simple. But the same people who get welfare talk shit about people who get welfare.
No,
And when you
because
follow your kids, guess what? You end up in a bracket of motherfuckers that get more welfare than the niggas who you talking shit about, except for food stamps, because they get the most, which makes sense. Of course they get the most, right?
well, no, because welfare is other people's money. What you get back for your child is your own money.
I think I see what Vaughn's trying to say. I think Vaughn's trying to say, if you're on welfare, who are you to criticize people who are also on welfare do with their money? I think that's what Vaughn's trying to say. Like, who are you coming out and telling people what they can and can't do? I think that's what he's trying to say.
She's making the argument, the same argument that Jeff made, that other people have made. Oh, but it's your own money. Yeah, but it's your money that was gone. It was your money that went to taxes like everybody else motherfucking money went to taxes. But somehow you getting your shit back. You know why you getting your shit back? Welfare.
No, it's because you deserve it. Because
Are you
people
guys
who have
really-
children are a blessing to their government.
Are you guys really? You guys are really gonna get out on this oval dirt track with beings right now.
That is crazy.
Okay.
Are we equating kids as welfare? Is that what I'm hearing?
No, he's not.
No, he's saying that any money that comes back to you from the United States government is welfare.
They say it's welfare, so they lying.
Okay, well, whatever point he's making, that's the one he's making.
I'm
Can
just
we let him? You guys,
Hey,
for the
Lick,
squeak.
let's make sure everybody hears this. They said it's welfare, but they lying.
Yes, for whatever, please, everybody say yes at the same time so we can move on. For
Do
the
you see what I mean about the disingenuousness? It's that much more difficult than just to say, oh, well, yeah, that is true.
I did say it was true for the
So
sweet
then what
love
the
of
fuck are
donkey
you
dick. I
talking
said
about?
it was true 10 minutes ago.
Absolutely, but my conversation in the beginning wasn't with you. You chose to chime in. You
Does
said you
anybody
wanted to
else
push
have
back.
it? Does anybody else? Who's arguing with Beans right now?
Me
I mean, who
and the
really,
sister
really?
was
Who's
having
arguing?
a conversation, and you said I want to push back on that. That's
Exactly.
what happened.
And then I conceded. And
Cool,
then I
then
conceded.
why are you still talking?
Because we're all talking together, and it would
On the
seem
panel. That's a fact.
yes, and it
That's
would seem with your energy that somebody is in disagreement with you, and I'm trying to ask those individuals for the sweet love of Jesus why.
That's you being disingenuous.
Yes,
you
me.
keep trying to make it personal to me.
No, I'm trying to find out.
When you the one who said you want to push back,
I'm trying to figure out how to move this conversation forward.
You're
That's
the one
all.
who disagreed.
Yes.
Can somebody tell him that so it won't seem like
I said I disagreed.
If we're gonna do this disingenuous shit,
I said I disagreed. And then I said you changed my mind. And now that you have, are there any other minds that need changing for the sweet love of?
Or you can just let me and the sister have a conversation.
You know what? That's a great idea.
Oh, that conversation is over, though. That conversation is over, right?
Yeah.
There's no way.
Well, I was just going to say one last thing is that the people. So there's 2 points to what he's saying. So he's saying so welfare is someone gets someone else's money, and that's different from the tax break because you're getting your own money back. And the reason why you deserve to get your own money back from the government, because that they took from you in the first place, is because people who have children are a bigger benefit to the government. Because if I have 5 children, then I now have 5 people that are going to be brought up and then later go into the workforce versus a couple that does not have 5 children or has no children. You two are just going to live and work your 50, 40 years and then die, while I am going to work my 40 years and then bring new people in to replace me. So they're like, well, thank you for bringing in new to the workforce in a few years. So here's some money back because of, and increasing the birth rate or whatever. So you deserve that money, your money on back. That's not what welfare is.
So here's the thing, sis. We just got through. So nobody here believes that black people are owed reparations because we just got through talking about that. I could make that argument to say these people deserve it. What sense does it make for the government to be able to tax you for the entirety of your life, but you not be able to tax it? Right? It doesn't. See this, and this is my problem, Antoine, is that it doesn't matter how much evidence you show people, they want to hold on to their biases and their bullshit narratives. So they're not going to change their mind, right? So even if you say you have a reason in your mind why you think it's justifiable for you to get the welfare, it's still welfare. So once you acknowledge that it's welfare, why would you be talking shit to anybody else who gets welfare? You're still getting it. And not to mention the fact I can literally prove it to you. Not a single dollar out of your check goes towards welfare. Not one. We owe too much money. Every single penny that goes out of your check goes towards the interest on the money that we have borrowed. So you can't count a single penny out of your check to welfare. Not one. You don't know that. But you want to think it and you want to believe it so you can have something to talk shit about these other people when you get the same shit they get. Welfare. That shit's wild to me, bro. Get the fuck over yourselves, man. That shit is dumb. We should be getting welfare. Every single motherfucking person in this country, every working person in this country, every black person in this country, every native person in this country, everybody should be getting something. Food stamps. If they came to any one of y'all right now and said you qualify for a discount or your rent, your light, or anything else, you would fucking accept it. So then why turn around and talk shit to people who qualify? It makes no sense. None, bruh. It just doesn't.
What if you just like mocking poor people?
That's the point. That's what I just said.
No, I mean like for sport.
That people want to hold on to their biases and their bullshit narratives.
Yeah,
AKA
like you get together on a Saturday, you get together in the park.
Yes.
You make up names about, you make up stories about how their lives are going bad. What's wrong with that?
That shit is insane.
And
I'm
think
frustrated about what happened in the conversation, but it's more about that dude and that fucking. That's why I said I wanted to break that video down because it's dumb. The shit that he's talking about is so stupid. $200 shoes, $300 headphones, and you don't go to work. Who got that shit? The kids?
My whole thing is somebody made all those shoes.
Beans, can I add something to what you just said? Beans, let me just say something to what you said. You know what? I was just filling out my freeze my taxes as an adult, a senior citizen in New Jersey. So I'm not really arguing about what you say because
you better not do that shit, bum. Don't you do that shit, you bum.
I'm a damn short. I'm a damn short.
You was wrong with America.
You know what, man? This is a pretty good conversation, even though we're going back and forth. But so I think it needed to be said. I mean, you can look at these things different ways. I like what you said too, also, Jenny. With the kids, they are going to be a benefit in the future as long as they're productive, right? But just going back to this thing about black people and what that guy was saying, even though he didn't mention it, and this is where I go wrong a lot, or people get me wrong. I just think that we're some of the most resilient people that ever existed. I mean, because we just sat here and talked about all the fucked up shit everybody has done. We're still here. We're still standing.
Payne, can I ask you something?
We are still standing.
Let me ask you something. Lick, can you bring up this first pic for me?
What picture?
It should be down here with us.
The welfare checkmate?
The first one.
Gotcha.
Yeah. This was last year. You got 2022, 2023, and 2024, right?
Right.
Yeah.
All the programs listed for welfare programs listed from government spending. You see what the very first one at the top is?
Yep.
Earned income tax credit and child tax credit. See how much it was last year? That's in billions, by the way. 85 billion.
Mm-hmm.
Housing assistance was only 69.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
SSI was 59.
Mm-hmm.
All this shit is fucking welfare. It's all welfare. All of it. Right? Now, the point is...
Wait a minute.
Uh-huh.
That's not... That doesn't prove your point. It says to families who pay no income tax. Families who pay in and then get the credit back, they're getting their own money. That's not welfare. This is also welfare. If you don't pay in and you get someone else's, then that's what welfare is.
So what you're saying is that you believe that you don't pay, that you're not paying the taxes, that you're just getting your money back. But now you're saying you're not. Now you're saying you believe that it's only for people who go tax exempt throughout the year. That's what
I think we're arguing two different sets of people.
I'm just trying to make sure. No. I'm just trying to make sure she's saying that's what it is. Because we can Google what percentage of people that is right now, and I guarantee you it won't qualify. Who's really doing that? Who's really going tax exempt for the year? Nobody. Right? The only reason why you're getting the money back is because you don't owe taxes. If you owe, you wouldn't be getting shit. You see?
Well, here's the thing, here's the thing. It goes back to what Jeff said earlier. You got to be able to prove, what you get to keep. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think the reason why they wrote the tax laws like that is to force people to basically be in business for themselves. Basically, when you see the earned income tax credit, families are in the business of making more families, which is creating more taxpayers. And right. I think that's probably the reason why
what Sis was just saying.
Yeah,
that's what she was saying. It's more of a benefit to the country.
Right.
And you see how
in that particular situation
made sense.
In that particular situation, Now, what your argument is that there are people who are actually receiving welfare and claiming taxes on money that they never made. Is that a fair statement?
Who you talking about, me?
Yeah, in that particular
Hell
situation.
no, I
I'm
ain't
talking
making
about.
that claim.
I'm
But
just
I'm not gonna
asking,
sit here
man.
and pretend like it don't happen though.
I'm just asking, man.
Nah, bro, I'm not gonna pretend like it don't happen though.
Hey,
But,
I'm just asking,
but
man.
no, I'm not. I wasn't talking about them. And you snitching. You know,
I'm just
snitches get
asking.
stitches, right? don't you do it? They gonna find you.
I'm just saying, I don't
You
have
have
no
to take a
kids,
long
bro.
way home. Is that it?
Okay,
Right.
okay. So bring up the last screen.
All right.
This one right here. So I want to make sure sis see this. So you see, here it is right here. So in order to get the child tax credit, you just need to have a qualifying child age 17 years, under 17 years at the end of the tax year, right? It could be anybody, right? And they have to be residing with you, and then you meet the income limits. Do you see what the income limit is right there? Meet income limits. The full credit is available if your modified adjusted income is 200,000 or less, 400,000 or less if married and filing jointly. Right? So that's it. Those are the qualifications. Right? So that's what I'm trying to tell you. People don't like the thought of this. They don't like the thought that it's welfare. They try to convince themselves in every way that they can that it's not that, just so they can hold on to their biases. No, how about this? Every other demographic in this country takes welfare. The Jews, the Asians, the Arabs, everybody gets what they can get out of their government, and they don't make fun of each other for doing it. So why do we?
I'm gonna put it to you like this, Beans. It's not so much as they're being paid welfare, as I think the government holds a gun to their head and say, "Give me all your money, and you get to decide. I get to decide how much you keep. But if you can prove to me that you get to keep some of it, then you can." That's basically what really happens.
I mean, listen, no, I'm not disagreeing with Jeff or you on that part.
Right,
Like,
right.
people have convinced me that the taxes thing is wrong. I just don't care because they swear up and down that taxes goes towards infrastructure, roads, and all these other things, right? Fire departments and all that other shit that I know I don't want to have to get out here and take care of. So when I'm paying my money and I don't even consider it. When I'm buying shit and I'm paying taxes, it don't bother me at all because I believe that money is either going towards, quote unquote, helping somebody else out in need or keeping the infrastructure of the country together where I can get on the road and go from New York to California.
Right.
And I'm okay with that.
Well, Beans, here's the thing I think that gentleman was leaving out is that the fact that when people go to the stores and purchase this stuff, there's a certain amount of tax that comes out that goes towards those roads and school systems and stuff like that. Because anytime we want to build a new school, they always tack a penny onto the sales tax and say, "Hey, this is for the kids." It's always for the kids, man. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
that's the main reason I think a lot of times when guys get to yapping like that, they don't really do the whole entire calculus. They're just mad because somebody may be getting something they may not be getting, which is the whole point, was the reason why I brought up the other video. By anytime we get ready to do something, they always tear this stuff up. They'll put a bulldozer through the neighborhood, put up a freeway, that type of thing. And any other particular situation, like say, for instance, if we have a certain amount of people we do wrong, they'll go back. Say, for instance, we bombed Japan. We went over there and we fixed Japan. We tore up Germany. We went over there and fixed Germany. So who's coming back to our neighborhood to fix up the stuff they tore up? You see, that's my issue when we have crickets. And when our stuff get tore up, nobody comes back and restores us for the damage that they did. And then when I hear people sitting on their acres talking about how lazy somebody else is, and then they strong arm somebody else out of their algorithm and then create something else just because they feel like, hey, our stuff ain't as good as theirs, so we just gonna take it by law, our law. You know what I'm saying? Instead of letting the free market system that they claim they love to do take over. That's when I find a disingenuous of the whole entire argument. That's my whole thing. If we're gonna play by the rules that people say they're gonna set, let the winners win and let the losers lose. And that's how it should be. That's how
it's supposed to be, but they always find. But that's the thing, where it's supposed to be the winners win and the losers lose. But when you have individuals who find any way whatsoever to make it look like as if the rules don't apply to them, but but it makes sure that it applies to you and everyone else. What do you expect? Like Andre Brower said in the movie The Tuskegee Airmen, rest in peace to him, you're playing cards with a fixed deck and you wonder why we can't win a hand. That's the best way to describe it. They're always going to find a way, colonizers always find a way to make sure that everyone else has to follow the rules, which at times is a contradiction of one another, and they'll find every way possible to make themselves the exception to those rules.
You know, maybe we need a campaign slogan like the banks and the car companies had in 2008, too big to fail. Maybe we should have something that says too black to fail. You know, maybe we can get some of that action. Some of that,
like
you know what I'm saying? Come on, Jeff. Jeff like that one.
Crazy.
I'm just saying.
Too black to fail. That was a great on t-shirt too.
I'm telling you. Coach Ferg, you got your finger up, man. Come on here.
You know, interesting conversation. You know, beings from I can understand what you're saying, and this is what my sentiment with welfare in itself, right? Most of us in America being black, whether we come from humble beginnings or middle class, lower middle class, most of us put work into the system of where we live at in America. Anybody up here haven't had a legitimate job? Raise your hand, please. Anybody? Everybody here has paid taxes, right? You have put in at some point. So yes. So I agree that if somebody has put in 10, 15 years of work, because we are in America, we do what the law say, then if you have to get welfare, yeah, so get it. Get your little housing. I help veterans all the time get low income housing. All the time. Yes, get your housing, go get your food stamps, get everything free that you can get from the government. Only problem I got is the ones who never really put into it and then come into life at 35 and over and talking about I can't work a job making $15 an hour. No, take your ass and start at the bottom like we all did. That's my sentiment. So yeah, those people, yeah. And this is what I see, I believe is coming just based off the new movement going forward as far as the land and the presidency and the way they're changing their dynamics. The day of the handouts is going to be very minimal. They're going to expect every able-minded bodied person to get out here and put their hand in the dirt and work it. That's just what America is. As far as reparation, give me money every day. If they say they're going to give me $1,000 for the rest of my life, I want it all.
That's a fact.
I want it all. I'm taking it. But in reality, I wouldn't have nobody. I tell my son, don't expect anything to be given to you for free. You have to put in the work. The retirement age is 67. When they go look at your social security number and they're going to say, hey, you haven't worked in the last 25 years and you have a son or a daughter you never really took care of, just throwing the worst case scenario, you still owe this child support. So instead of giving you $300 a month, we're going to give you $150 a month. However, if you're a single brother and you work consistently, don't have no out of wedlock children, maybe you're married, you have a situation where you and your wife can file the kids every other year, then your bank account will be pretty good. And we don't see people in the modern day. This is supposed to be the smartest and the richest generation taking advantage of the joint because you can make up to $200,000 and still get that little extra $4,000 or $5,000 for our little slow kids, so we can take them on a vacation worthwhile, so we can take them and see the world. You know what I'm saying? The world that we're afraid to go see, we can take our children. And to me, that's a bigger fix than most are willing to see. But I'm an old guy.
Trey Ferg, before you go, let me ask you a question. You mentioned something about reparations, right? I'm of the mindset is fix what you tore up. You know what I'm saying? If you burned our banks, give us our banks back. If you burned down our schools, give us our schools back. You know what I'm saying? If you tore up our neighborhoods and took our houses or whatever, make us whole.
Wait. Let me ask
the reason why I say that, listen, the reason why I say that is because that allows us to continue what we already started. We were already handling business. Don't stand in our way.
No,
Let
that's a
us
fact.
be at the table so we can handle business too.
That's a fact, Led. I'm glad you said that because most people don't think about that part of it. That's why I hate when people immediately, when they want to talk about what we was doing, they jump all the way back to slavery. I'm like, you don't have to go back that far. But to you and more specifically, Jeff, too. So y'all take reparations past the freedmen, like y'all take it into redlining and the crack era and the Oklahoma cities. Y'all take reparations into that shit too.
I don't know what you mean.
Like some people don't look at this is what I'm saying, Jeff. I look at reparations as the 2 million freedmen. I look at it as the debt that was owed. That's it. I ain't.
Yes, it stands by itself as a debt owed with interest. Yes.
Right. So not Ku Klux Klan, not Jim Crow, not the burning down of the banks and all of that, and not the prison industrial complex, not redlining, not all of that stuff. Just you said you was gonna get these guys 40 acres and a mule. You didn't do it. Run that money.
Period.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's where I'm at because I think that less complicates things. Now I do know that that's not a lot of money, right? We did the math on that, but who cares? If we get them that pay that debt, that's a win.
Well, if I may,
come on, Jay.
You can never appeal to a bully for your lunch money back. That's not how that goes.
Yeah,
That's not how that goes.
Yeah.
Before they will own, because of not just because of the dollar amount, but because of what will have to be owned as a nation. Mm-hmm. It is my belief that before they will give you that dollar, they will let it crash.
Yes.
That is my belief.
Yes.
Should they not? Funky Dory. I'll take my check and I'm gonna cash it fast. But it is, I have no stock in what they're going, in some debt that they're going to pay, that they're going to push me in front of the line with the scores of countries. They're gonna all of a sudden have a change of heart for this money for us. I don't believe it's going to come. I'm not waiting on it. I think, to be honest, we are owed that money. Do we need it? No, we don't need one more dime. What we need is love. We need enough love for ourselves to see the folly in being upset with Cleveland because of how they treating Shadur, when Shadur should not be playing for them at all. How we see somehow a father and a son playing for a sports team owned by a white man as a victory. Mm-hmm. That's where our focus needs to be, in actually having the balls. And that's why I'm so glad these old, no offense or pain, these old wishy-washy, we shall overcome, bragging about getting their ass whooped on a bridge ass niggas is dying off. I am so glad that these younger black people are stepping up and they not having it in no way, shape, or form. I am proud of them. We are going to get to a point where in politics, the first time that you speak one double talk sentence, you might as well hang it up. We are never going to vote for you. We don't trust you next. When we get there, and the way these new kids think, that's where we going. Until then, all of this shit is going to stay slimy and stay a little wishy-washy. I'll leave it there.
I got pushback. I can't remember the last time I sang Michelle Overcome. I got pushback, bro. Big time. Shit.
Yeah. That's why I said no offense, R-Pain. I ain't counting you over there.
No, man. I'm cool, man. I was going to ask some. I don't know if we're coming down to the end of the show there, Lit.
Yeah, man. We got about 10 minutes.
Real quick, man.
You're not doing that after show?
Not on Tuesday, man. On Friday, we do. Yeah.
Let me just have a question for folks, man. Have anybody else here been on a welfare line?
Nope.
The welfare line. That sounds crazy.
The welfare line. Yeah, that's
No.
my grandmother grabbed me one morning and made me get on the line with her, man. This shit had to be at least 8 hours long. It was, and they wanted to commit me after that shit. I was crying. I cried all day to get to the end of that line, to get the peanut butter with the oil and shit on the top when you open it up, or the cheese that don't melt. You know, that kind of shit, man.
Okay.
It was a dramatic experience. You know, so I understand folks on welfare, and I don't look at it as a badge of courage or a badge of honor, but I've been on the line. You know, and I spent a lot of my childhood. You know, we used to tease people beans about being on the line until I was on that son of a bitch. You know, and I never forgot. I'm 100 years old. I still remember it to this day. I haven't seen my father in a month, man. He came up to, I was in the house. I don't know how a human being shouldn't even have that much tears. I was so he came in. I haven't seen this fucking guy for maybe a month. He came in because he finally got word that he still had a son. Let me go see how crazy this motherfucker is. I was just distraught, man, because all my friends were looking at me, and just back then it was just weird. But it just hit me when we talk about welfare, man. I actually been on the line.
Well, I got some advice that's 90 years too late. You know, you could take some of that oil from the peanut butter and put it on the cheese, and the damn cheese wouldn't be so hard.
Wow.
That's probably the reason why we're so tough, because we don't melt. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. I don't know what you're talking about. They made the best grilled cheese sandwiches in the history of black folk.
As a matter of fact, I'm going to have a grilled cheese sandwich right after this.
Actually, they were salty. That cheese was salty as hell, man.
This man is from the south side of Chicago.
Beans? Oh man! Niggas have gotten that twisted my whole life. I'm from 60th and Damon. It don't get no gutter. It don't get no more gutter than what I just said. Nowhere in America.
The fact that you even knew that is crazy. Like, not even knew it. The fact that you remembered it.
What?
You've been all around the world and you still remember.
Bruh, Beans, look here. I tell my friends when I come to town, the last time I was in town, DL was there. I was working on some shit for him for his last special. And my dudes, I got my same high school, grammar school, peed on my foot, the same dudes. And one of them was one of my best friends was like, dude, I love you because you got out of here, you never forgot. And I was like, that's impossible, because if I am not connected to you, then who the fuck am I? Bruh, I am pick a roach out of some cereal, eating the water for dinner. Bruh, niggas get that. I'm nice with these doorknobs. Bruh, I grew up in the 70s on the south side of Chicago. I don't never disavow that, ever. How?
I thought I was there.
Nah, man.
Okay.
Let me be quiet, man, because I be trying to hold folks to the standard they want to set us to. So they'll come get me. I see what happens to the nail that sticks out. It gets hammered. So
come on now. Okay. I dare somebody to beat this. I bet you can't beat this ghetto story. I'm so ghetto. I take the last of the peanut. You don't get the last of the peanut butter unless you do this. Take a piece of bread with a butter knife and roll it around on the inside of the jar. I said all of the goddamn peanut butter. All of it.
That's awesome. But again, you were resourceful. You figured it out. Nobody walked your hand.
You were hungry. They didn't want nothing to figure out.
When the rats went through our trash, they didn't get nothing but mad. We ate all that shit, all of it.
Before we end the stream, because I did I'm probably tomorrow. I was on Cooley show, No Fugazi, and there was some white boys up there arguing against reparations. I had to go up there and cook. But one of the things that I remember specifically was them saying who gonna pay for it.
It's already paid for. It's already been tripled in dividend.
This is what you should have answered. The same people that gave that money to Afghanistan, the same people that gave that money to Ukraine, the same people that gave that money to everybody else around the world. That's who gonna pay. How about that?
Well, the argument is that that's us, right? Because they just get it back in taxes. But this the thing though. I ain't gonna lie. I thought it was actually a good question because it made me think about it. But the thing that the dude argued was that why should we have to pay for that when the people who was supposed to get it ain't here no more? You don't deserve it because those people ain't here no more. And the question
you profited from it. That's why.
That I wanted to ask y'all is, so let's say your God forbid to anybody on the panel, your mom, your dad is on the train derailed. They find out it was negligence on the company. The company is old and they paying everybody. They handing out checks. Should you get a check? You're the oldest living surviving member of your mother and father, and they would keep. You say absolutely?
Without question, the next of kin has a right to file. Families do it, bruh. That's what do you? If not, then what is wrongful death?
Thank you.
Exactly.
That is the pure definition of wrongful death.
So this is my question, Jeff. I know the answer, but I just want y'all to reconcile it for my mind.
You good.
Why would they even try to argue against that, knowing damn well they believe that?
Because when someone owes you money, they're going to convince you that they don't.
Because what it is base level thinkers running offense for the power elite against other base minded people. You'll have this shit works on base minded people, and because it works so well, and it gives them time. This is why, Beans, what your question is, why they're allowed to have committees look into it. They've had committees looking into this shit for at least 55 years that I can remember.
Everywhere, right.
You know you owe it. This is why I say it is foolish to wait. It's a great conversation to have.
Yes.
It's a fantastic conversation to have, but unless we can be on the accord that our business is more important.
That's right. In other words, too black to fail. Let's get it, man.
Come on,
man. I gotta make the shit like that.
I'm sorry, y'all. Real quick.
We got 1 minute.
I know. To sis, to Jenny. I wanted to ask you, do you think that the LGBT movement is oppressive?
Yes.
Do you think that oppression is systemic?
Yeah.
So then systemic oppression still exists then, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it exists in forms, but not in regards to black people.
Really? I would say it's mostly us that they put on those cameras. But at the same time, I digress because I don't watch a lot of that goofy stuff. Like I know you don't watch a lot of goofy stuff. So they probably got some white people up there too. But I don't watch a lot of that goofy stuff. So I just watch white people kill each other.
For coming out, hit the like button, hit subscribe, hit share. Appreciate y'all for coming out. Thank you guys for coming out. R Payne, Miss Jenny, Antoine, Beans. As always, Jeff, Coach Ferd, thank you guys for coming out for another edition of Black Man Unfiltered Flipping Tables. Y'all have a good evening. Thank you.
That's what we're doing.